if I ask you like per day, how much effort did you put? I mean,
Yeah.
2 hours, 4 hours?
No, not that much. So basically, what I did was I extended the time. And when I talk about preparing and revising, what I mean is it's not like you need to do it every day, but whenever you do, start with revision, then do anything new. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you are building it step by step. Otherwise,
Yep.
by the time you reach graph, linked list will become like it'll go away. That happens
Mm.
like for all of us.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
happens. But yeah, talking about my preparation, um, so initially I didn't study a lot. Then I didn't get through a few interviews. Then post that I was doing at least an hour and a half, like
Okay.
1.5 hours, but not every day. Like I was not able to study on weekends because office, 5 days office with studies, didn't have any energy to study on Saturdays and Sundays.
Mm.
So I think apart from one weekend in those 2 3 months, I never studied on weekends. But yeah, if for some people it works out like on weekends, they have a lot of time, so they do it on Sundays. So it's up to you. But whenever you do, just follow whatever approach
Mm-hmm.
works for you.
Mm.
Don't try to cover a lot of things quickly. I would say move slowly because I mean, anyways, right now you're in Oracle. It's a great company, anyways. So you can take that time and unless you're in a
Yeah, yeah.
hurry, yeah, you can take that
Mm-hmm.
time and prepare well and leave. Yeah. Any other thing that any other questions that you have?
Mm. No, you said well about even Microsoft also, like how your interview went on and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine. Till
Okay.
now, yeah.
Sure. There's one thing I wanted to talk about regarding your resume. So
Mm.
there's something which I got a feedback, so that's where I'm sharing it with you. So I mean, it is clear that you're working on. I'm reading it on the other screen. So development of security middleware product that works based on adaptive risk management using Java and Oracle DB. Can you, if possible, can you add? I would suggest a bit more about what your
The
contribution
okay,
and the
okay,
impact. So
okay, okay,
it's a middleware product, so there would be some scale around it, right? That you might be scaling to so many requests.
okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the impact, adding the impact here would certainly bring in attention
No,
to the resume.
actually, yeah. So actually, I work on the module that I work on. It's
Yeah.
basically the admin console. So,
Okay.
so where the administrator actually does all the configuration and all, and that is, and it stores gets stored in the database, and the runtime actually that prevents that fraudulent activities or whatever it's
Okay.
mentioned there. So yeah, my part is basically the admin console only. So
Excellent.
it's not like something like that much scalable or something, but yeah, yeah, I can check and add some.
Any form of impact, you can talk about probably automating something in the background, but any numbers
Hmm.
you can put in that certainly.
Okay, okay.
And what about Rudder Labs? In Rudder Labs, because in Rudder Labs you have mentioned Kafka and
Mm-hmm.
um, so I think
Yep.
there you might have a streaming system, right? If you're using
Yeah,
Kafka.
yeah, 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 yeah. No,
Yes.
it did not use Kafka for itself. I mean, the use case was something like suppose our one of the customers was 1 mg. Okay, so what our product used to do, like they used to they used to gather. The events, like suppose in the various e-commerce sites as well, like Instamart also was their customer. So they used to take the data, like how I mean, what if suppose a customer, what kind of products he's searching for or he's purchasing. So it takes that kind of data and send it to Google Analytics, or I mean,
Okay.
1mg they used to do analysis by themselves also. So they used to send it to some Kafka. So we used to act like a producer there, not the consumer.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's so it's kind of a pipeline that fetch the
Understood.
data and send it to somewhere. That's it.
Got it, got it. Okay, then probably in the fetching part, if you could add something
Hmm.
where you're pulling data, I think
Hmm.
that should be good enough. And yeah, I think apart from that, I mean, it looks really nice. Hey, sorry, can you
Hmm.
give me just 1 second? I'll be on hold for a second.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
One call from office. I don't know why.
Yeah, yeah, sure, no problem.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
yeah. Another thing which I just recalled. I was trying to recall my interviewing experience.
mhm,
So another thing which helped me was, so once you decide to go for interviews, suppose like after 2 months, when you feel that your preparation is enough and you want to give it a try, uh, I would suggest you can start first applying with companies where you actually don't want to go.
mhm.
So,
Yeah.
so that actually helped me. I put my profile in Naukri, and once you put it in Naukri.com, you will start getting too many calls. Like a lot of
Mhm,
companies, services, product, all sort of companies will come there. So what I did was, at least every weekend, since I was anyways not studying, I would, there was a time for 2 months where I would be giving some or the other interview. I gave I gave Licious, I gave HackerRank.
okay.
So these startups, and that's where I gave Postman and got through also. Um, these companies are very, very serious about DS and algo. So they'll ask the toughest questions, is what I've seen. But live interviewing experience helps the most. No
Mhm,
matter how much we prepare, going in an interview and thinking of a solution in the first uh, 45, 50 minutes, like in the first 5, 10 minutes, and then solving it in 45 minutes. I think that experience only comes from active interviewing.
mhm,
So I would suggest, once you are, say you are saying that you think that after 15 days I can go ahead and give my main companies, 15, 20 days before that, I would say, because you'll, as soon as you put it up there, you'll start getting calls. So you can start giving startups. And so that helps in the preparation, getting into that mental state of initial nervousness
mhm,
goes away. At least that helped me.
mhm. So
Um,
you are also from Java, right?
yeah, yeah, fully,
And
fully Java.
now also working in Java in
No,
Microsoft.
so no, so that was
Okay.
a domain shift for me. Not a domain
Mhm,
shift, but a language shift for me. I now work on so earlier it was all Java, Tomcat, and all these standard technologies. Now it is C Sharp, and so they have their own IIS servers and Visual
okay.
Studio. So it's been
Mhm,
I'd been using Eclipse for 8 years.
mhm,
Then suddenly now onto this. Microsoft has its own technology. So at least in my team, calendar platform is like 15 to 20 years old code sometimes. So
okay.
not a lot of, like in Walmart, everything was new: Spark, Cassandra, Kafka, every all those terms with it. Now it is more of domain here in Microsoft. But there are
Mhm,
teams where you can get to work on Java also, Java, C++,
okay. Okay. Mhm,
Objective C. Um, yeah, and yeah, and another round which is important at this experience is the behavioral round. So for
mhm,
sure, Facebook asks that,
mhm,
and a lot of other companies also. The
mhm,
behavioral round is something which no one ever prepares for. But again, at our experience, it becomes important because they'll suddenly come up with awkward questions like, when was the last time when you disagreed with a senior?
mhm,
So now thinking on the spot is not possible for such questions without,
mhm,
and we can't be, so we can't make up answers, but we can't be brutally honest also. We can't say that there was a senior who didn't know anything. So you have to have a calculated, like there are these few questions. When did you last disagree with your senior? When did you last disagree on a technical aspect? And what did
mhm,
you propose? What did he say? How did you reach a conclusion? So in my case, the thing was that I told them that so we were building an order management subsystem, and I wanted to do it in a generic way, but my seniors wanted me to do it quickly because of the timelines. So this generally works out in interviews, because you can
mhm,
always say that you wanted to do it in a more stable, more generic way, but there were timelines to follow. So eventually
okay.
you agreed, because I mean, at the end of the day, revenue is the main source. So things like that. Then they'll ask you, when did you disagree with a teammate? Or was there a teammate who didn't work well? What did you do? So just try and
Mhm,
think of these also before you apply for eventually the main companies that you want to go for, because they'll ask such questions, and then it becomes tough. Even strength and weakness they still ask. I used to think like that'll become old, but they ask that question: what are your strengths and weaknesses? So
mhm.
all that also, because I know that one of my friends got rejected in Facebook based on his behavioral round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they gave that as a feedback that he
Oh.
didn't his fitment was not good. They call it a fitment round.
Mhm,
So that all